10 days in. How's it going? If you're sitting there wondering what 10 days you're in, you missed Ash Wednesday 10 days ago. We started Lent. How's it going? I'd ask how many have failed, but I don't want all the hands or your hands to have to go up. You don't have to be put in jeopardy when you're in here. I've had to start over. I'll put my hand up. If you're really into Lent, you should be noticing it. In some respect, it should probably be hurting a little. Not hurting in the sense of pain, but hurting in that sense of it's creating some discomfort in me. You might even notice, as Jesus warned us last week in the gospel, temptations will come. You might have noticed how you're being tempted to kind of trash it and give it up. You know, I did a couple days, that's good, forget it. Please don't. He won't. Don't forget it. I said this before, there are 40 days of Lent. If you fail 40 times, get up and start over. Just do Lent and notice it. It's about transforming us. It's about changing us. It's about us becoming something that God envisions we are and could be, and not what I see necessarily. The gospel of the first Sunday of Lent is always the temptations in the desert, because God knows we will be tempted, not just to mess up Lent, but we'll be tempted to mess up our lives through sin. We'll be tempted to abandon that relationship with God. We are all the time. That's why we get that story. And we find from that story, last week's story, we find, hey, Jesus was tempted. He made it. I'm going to be tempted. I can make it. And I know you're sitting there going, well, he's the Son of God and I'm not. Gotcha. You have him within you to help you. He's indwelling in you, should be. Now this week, what's this mountaintop thing got to do with Lent? I think a lot. If you go into Luke's gospel, this is all the 9th chapter. If you go into the 9th chapter, you're going to notice something. First prediction of the Passion, it says. Those black letters, the big bold print. You know what they're doing? They're kind of going along with Jesus in his ministry. They're kind of traveling with him on this new journey of life. And you know what they're thinking? Hey, we made it. We made it. We're just a bunch of poor fishermen. We're uneducated people. We can't read or write, probably, most of them. We got it made. This guy's the Messiah. He's going to restore the kingdom of David, and we're going to be on the right and left and every place else. We're going to have positions of authority. We're going to be lording it over all kinds of other people, and this is really going to be great. And so at the beginning of this chapter, Jesus says, I'm going to Jerusalem. I'm going to be rejected by the leaders and people. I'm going to be crucified, put to death on a cross. I'm going to die, and I'm going to rise on the third day. Now, if I had that mindset and I was walking along with Jesus, what do you think I'd be thinking? Must be something wrong with him. Maybe he's got a cold. Maybe he's got a fever. Does he look sick? What's happening? The very next thing he does with him is take him up on the mountain. And they get to see this glorious divine moment. Moses and Elijah, the prophets, the law, the Old Testament, if you will, boom, right there with Jesus. And Luke even says that the conversation, they spoke of his exodus that he was going to accomplish in Jerusalem, dying and rising. They were talking to him about that. And this glorious moment, and Peter takes one look at it and says, freeze this moment, please. Let's put a tent up here. We're going to stay on the top of this mountain, and we're never coming down. This is it. This is even better than being in Jerusalem and being the king's right and left. That's pretty neat. Jesus says, Peter, get a hold of yourself, buddy. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. And the voice comes then, this divine voice, same voice that spoke when he was baptized in the Jordan and said, this is my beloved son, listen to him. Listen to, ob audire in Latin, obey, the word obedience. Listen to him, obey him, follow him, do what he tells you to do. Order your life like he asks you to order your life on this journey. Listen to him. And then they go back down the mountain, kind of stunned. And guess what he does? Second prediction of the passion. I'm going to Jerusalem. I'm going to be rejected by the elders. I'm going to have a horrible passion. I'm going to be crucified. I'm going to die on the cross, and I'm going to rise on the third day. This experience in this gospel is done to strengthen them for the scandal of the cross. The scandal of the cross. It was a scandal to be executed by the state as a common criminal, especially when you're the Messiah, the very Son of God. Strengthening came when he needed it and they needed it. And that's why this gospel is always the second Sunday of Lent. In all three cycles, always this gospel. 10 days in, how are you doing? You still in Lent? Still making an effort? Still trying? It's hard. Sometimes it hurts. It should, a little. Hurt in the sense of making you uncomfortable, reminding you of what you're doing and where you are and what you're in and what you're trying to do and how you want to be transformed, which means changed, and that's not easy, and sometimes that hurts. 3 times he fell beneath the weight of the wood. 3 times he fell beneath the weight of our sins. And 3 times he got up.